Hello and welcome. My name is Curtis Stoichkov, and I'm an Assistant Director of Media Relations here at Holy Cross. I just want to thank you all for taking the time to join us today. A quick rundown of today's events is as follows. Our Director of Athletics, Marcus Blossom, will start us off with an opening statement, and he'll introduce us to newly appointed head men's ice hockey coach, Bill Riga, followed by comments by Riga himself. We'll then wrap up with a quick session of questions. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our Director of Athletics, Marcus Blossom.
Thanks, Curtis, and good to see familiar faces. Jen, this is probably the 10th time we've been doing this, it seems like. But good afternoon to everyone. Thank you all for joining us. This is an exciting day for Holy Cross men's ice hockey and the Holy Cross community. I'm thrilled to introduce Bill Riga as the next head coach of the men's ice hockey program. First, I'd like to thank the search committee for their assistance during this process. It was a very thorough and deliberative process that took a good amount of time, and we wanted to be thorough, make sure we found the right candidate, and I'm thankful for the committee for committing their time. The search committee included Senior Associate AD Nick Smith, and also the men's ice hockey program administrator, member of the Board of Trustees and graduate of the class of '82, Chris Millard, Senior Associate Director of Admissions, Drew Carter, and also Mike Laffin, Holy Cross 2019 graduate and former men's ice hockey captain. There was no shortage of qualified candidates for the position. I was extremely impressed with the depth of coaching talent in college hockey. I felt we had a tremendous pool, and Bill Riga rose to the top of that list for various reasons. First, Bill demonstrated a true desire to be at Holy Cross. He was excited about the prospect of recruiting, mentoring, and developing the type of student athletes that we feel can excel in the classroom and on the ice here at Holy Cross. And also throughout the process, Bill consistently talked about who we can be, while also communicating a plan to get there. He didn't shy away from high expectations. He also shared my vision for this ice hockey program, which is to compete for conference championships and NCAA tournament appearances. I also believe Bill's background, as we all know, will make him a great fit to lead our program at this time. He's learned under not only two of the best coaches in college hockey, but two of the best coaches in hockey, in Nate Lehman and Rand Pecknold. And he was a major contributor to the success of both Quinnipiac and Union. During his time at Union, he helped really lay the foundation of great successes that followed after his departure. And the last 13 years at Quinnipiac have been nothing short of stellar. As well known, 16 NCAA tournament appearances, 2 Frozen Fours, and 2 national championship games. Lastly, Bill's competitiveness and work ethic really were 2 qualities that stood out during this process. I'm confident, and this is important, that Bill and his staff will compete daily in every facet of being a head hockey coach. That's developing our student athletes on the ice, in the classroom, and in the community. Working in the film room, in team practices, competing on the recruiting trail, and of course, during game competition. I really believe in due time, winning will become an expectation. And I know our student athletes are looking forward to competing with Bill and raising our level of competitiveness and success. So without further ado, the 7th head hockey coach in the history of Holy Cross, Bill Riga.
Thank you, Marcus, for those kind words. Really appreciate that. Thank you, everyone, for being here this afternoon. Certainly thrilled and honored and blessed to be the 7th head men's ice hockey coach at College of the Holy Cross. I don't take this lightly. To represent a college with the history and reputation of Holy Cross is truly humbling and doesn't come along every day. I can't wait for myself and my family to get on campus and become part of this special community. And for me, it's a little extra special in that I grew up just 10 miles away in Westboro and played youth hockey in the Hart Center. So it truly is a homecoming for me, and it's a very special place. I want to thank Father Burrows, Marcus Blossom, Nick Smith, and the entire search committee for their thorough approach. To be sitting here after this process and all that went into it is certainly says something, their faith in me and how all the great candidates that were involved that I know personally, that could have been sitting here. To be sitting here myself is certainly an honor. Personally, I want to thank, and bear with me here, this is the first one of these as a head coach, obviously, but the Masters family, Peter Masters Sr., who gave me my first coaching job back in 2002, to Nate Lehman, phenomenal influence in my coaching philosophy and development, really taught me what it meant to become a coach. And then to Rand and everyone at Quinnipiac, that time was so special and changed my life. I met my wife there, and all the people at Quinnipiac are people I'm definitely going to miss, moving here. But obviously I'm excited to do so. The assistant coaches that I've worked with, kind of a who's who in the hockey community now, with Rick Bennett and Tony Gasparini, Ben Sire at Cornell, Reed Cashman, now the head coach at Dartmouth, and Joe Dumais, who I worked with the last 5 years at Quinnipiac, who's a complete rock star. He's going to be having one of these press conferences pretty soon himself. Those guys have been invaluable in my development as well, to share ideas with, learn techniques and systems, and really learn the game together. So I'm very, very thankful to have worked with all of them. And the only reason why a coach is successful in the end is because of the players. And if the players don't perform and the players don't buy into what you're selling and how you're going to do things, there's no way I could be here today. And to me, at all my stops, they've gone above and beyond what we've asked them to do, and have performed at levels that are sometimes hard to believe when you look at the record. And I owe them so much, and I can never repay the debt for the effort and the passion that they put into their everyday business, and how they carried themselves and how they performed. And on to Holy Cross. I'm excited to speak with the players this afternoon and get moving in preparations moving forward for the program, both this year and into the future. We'll work together to create a culture, an identity, and a standard for everything we're going to do on the ice, in the classroom, and in the community. As Marcus said, I think the word I use the most is relentless. It's a relentless pursuit of that excellence in everything we do. And it's going to be an adjustment, obviously for the guys with change. There's always some uncertainty, but we're going to do it together. We're going to do it together, and we're going to make a plan, and we're going to move forward here and become a winning program. We'll be visible and engaged on our campus, strive to give everyone at Holy Cross a program to be proud of. I'm also excited to interact with the proud alumni of the program and dig deeper into the history and the pride that they all have in this program, and engage with them to stay involved and also become a part of the future of the program as well. It's very important that the past becomes part of the future. And with that said, thanks to everyone once again. It's a very special day for me and my family. Excited to get going, and from here on, I bleed purple and glad to be part of Crusader Nation.
All right, thank you, Bill and Marcus. We'd now like to open the floor for some questions. I just ask that you use the hand raising feature that can be found at the bottom of your Zoom window under the reactions tab, so that I'll be able to call on each of you accordingly. And with that, we can get going with some questions. Yeah, Jen, you can start us off. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Bill. Jen Toland from the Telegram in Worcester. As you mentioned, it's a homecoming for you. I'm sure the Hart Center looks a little bit different than you remember it in your youth hockey days, but what's it like to be back, kind of where it all started for you with hockey?
It feels like it's been a long journey. I remember playing tournaments here, and in between games, my parents would work the concession stand while I ran around with my friends outside here. And then we'd come in and play a game and run back out again. But some of it does look the same. The view from the hill is still great. But when I told my mom that I was coming back to Holy Cross, she kind of broke down, and she gets to see her grandkids again. But for me, it's just that feeling of home and familiarity, and it's a place that means something to me, and it's special. I mean, every job is special and means something, but when it's in your hometown and you can return home where you have a lot of friends and family, it certainly makes it even more so.
Was that a big part of the appeal? And what else appealed to you about the position, and what's it going to take to elevate the program?
Okay, first part of your question. Yeah, I guess it's part of the appeal. I think as a coach, sometimes you don't think so much about the location when you take jobs, but it gets to be a little more exciting, I would say, when you can go to a location that has personal appeal. To get the program going, I mean, I think it's just getting everyone on board with the vision and then getting the right people, to drive that bus. And once the bus starts to move and you get it moving a little bit, it grows and the recruiting grows, momentum grows. And certainly we're going to make some changes in terms of how we play. Don't want to get into too much of the strategic stuff today, but there's going to be some changes. And I think the guys are going to have some input in that. And we're going to find out what's worked here and what needs to improve and create that plan together and move forward.
First off, class of 17 at Quinnipiac. Sad to see you leave, but happy to see you at Holy Cross. You were with Rand Pecknall for 13 years, and he basically built that program. So can you just say how are you going to look at what Rand did at Quinnipiac and try to build that at Holy Cross?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into so much that we're going to take Quinnipiac and move it to Holy Cross. It's a different campus. It's a different community. It's different players. It's a different league. It's not like you pick up a house and move it to another location and just start living in it. It's not that. But the things that, I've learned and absorbed and just about how to deal with things on a daily basis and the calm, the maturity and handling players and things have changed a lot, in that time with the young student athletes and even how the NCAA works. And there's just a lot to deal with and being next to someone that dealt with that in that way, the whole way is invaluable for me. But certainly there are things on the ice that have been successful that I would like to bring here and instill in the program. And that's going to take place over time. You got to see what you have for a roster and the talents that the players that are here have and kind of mold around that for the current season. And then where you want to go, we'll build from that through recruiting and where we want to go in that direction.
And also too, in your speech, you just brought up culture. What kind of culture do you want to bring to the Holy Cross locker?
Culture is that word that kind of gets thrown around and everyone uses it. We need to have culture. Culture wins. But to me, culture is the standard by which you do everything you do every day. When you come to the rink every day or go to the classroom every day and you're a member of the Holy Cross men's ice hockey program, there's a way that we're going to do things that's going to be a standard and an expectation. And we don't want to fall short of that. And we're going to hold that to account. And that's not like it's a military. There's just things we need to do to be successful in every aspect of life. And we're gonna do that together and move forward.
And also one last question for you, Coach. Holy Cross has had some goal scorers, if you go back to 2007 when they did that run against Minnesota with Tyler McGregor and then Scott Pooley a few years ago, they really haven't had much sustainable goal scorers. How are you going to get more offense into Holy Cross?
Well, I mean, there's things we can do systemically and style of play wise. We can jump more guys into the rush and we can do different forechecks to create more offense, but not at the expense of defending. But also recruiting. I mean, as someone that's been in this business for a long time and done a bunch of recruiting in a bunch of different ways and levels, like it's all about connections and knowing coaches, knowing advisors, knowing people that can reach out to me and say, hey, we have a guy that's under the radar here. We have a guy you have to get on and recruiting. And ultimately it's hard to create goal scorers. You can create offense, but create goal scorers and you have to recruit them. So me and my staff are going to have to recruit, guys that fit into that mold and can put the puck in the net. And it's every school's got their recruiting challenges and obviously we have great academics here and no one's going to come here that can't handle that, but they're out there. We just need to find them and be aggressive and recruit the guys that fit our program.
And actually, I'm sorry, Coach, one last question. I know Quinnipiac did a lot of recruiting up in Canada. Do you think Holy Cross under your program is going to start maybe looking at more Canadian players?
I mean, I don't want to say yes or no. I mean, I think we're going to look at everywhere. I don't think we're going to shut ourselves out of any location. I mean, certainly have a lot of East Coast connections, but also have done a lot of recruiting in British Columbia and even Halifax. And I don't want to leave any stone unturned. I want to find the best guys for our program. And certainly having connections out there from all the time I've spent is going to help. But I'm not going to turn anyone away because of where they're from. It's going to be areas that are going to become, there could be hot areas for us where 1 or 2 kids come and now everyone's like, wow, they really enjoyed it. And now all the kids from there want to come. And that's kind of how it grows.
Thanks, Coach.
Bill, staying on the recruiting line there, you obviously recruit a lot of talented players during your time at Quinnipiac. What are the qualities you're going to look for in players to bring them in here to Holy Cross?
The first one is character. I mean, obviously, there's a lot that goes into that. It's a big word and it's got a lot of different intricate meanings. But I think the big thing is everyone that we get here, and it was this way at Quinnipiac too. Like, we weren't getting a lot of first-round draft picks or any, even second-round draft picks. So we got to get really good players that fit our culture and what we want to do, and make a plan to make them better, individually and as a team. So if we don't have kids with work ethic and character, they're not going to put the time in, they're not going to buy in, they're not going to improve. And if they don't improve, we're not going to be where we want to be. So it's got to be kids that know that they're going to put in some work, and we're going to have a plan for everyone individually. And they're going to work their way into being great players.
And making the move from ECAC to Atlantic Hockey. How well do you know the teams in this league, and what are you expecting to see week in and week out from your opponents?
Yeah, we play a bunch of teams depending on the year, especially this past year where we weren't allowed to play Hockey East teams and teams from other leagues because of COVID. But we also, even teams we don't play, we see on video in our preparation. Every team that we play, we probably watched them play 10 games. So we saw a lot of opponents and I learned a lot of things that they did. I also know a lot of the coaches and a lot of what they do, in terms of their tendencies and habits. So we're going to be prepared no matter what. Every game's accessible to our staff to watch and scout. But certainly the profile of the league has gotten better. Teams are putting more resources into their programs, and it's going to be a tough game every game, night in and night out in this league or any league. And we're going to be prepared and work hard to be to the top of that league every year.
I know you have a wife and kids. How excited are they to make the move up to Central Massachusetts with you?
The kids will be glad to get to see grandma more often. My wife is extremely excited to move to Massachusetts. She has a lot of friends in this area that she didn't see as much as she'd like to. So she came to campus earlier in the week when we finalized the position, and just loved the campus and being on top of the hill and the view. And I would say extremely excited to get up here and start a new chapter in our lives as a family.
I want to thank you all again for taking the time to be here. We're incredibly excited to have Bill Riga join our Crusader family. And if you have any questions, follow-up questions for Bill or Marcus, please feel free to reach out to me over email or phone. I believe you all should have my cell number, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So once again, thank you, and please enjoy the rest of your day.